Hi, this is Alex from devstories.eu. Pulumi Infrastructure as Code, Episode 7 of 10. Hardcoding a database password in your infrastructure code is a guaranteed security failure, but manually injecting environment variables into every single deployment pipeline is brittle and hard to track. You need a way to tie specific encrypted values to specific environments automatically. This is keeping secrets, configuration management. The core idea here is separating your code from your configuration. You want to write your infrastructure logic exactly once. Then, when you deploy to your development stock, the code provisions small instances. When you deploy to production, it provisions large instances and uses the production database credentials. Pulumi handles this through a built-in configuration system. A common point of confusion is how these values are actually stored. Setting a Pulumi configuration value does not set local operating system environment variables. Instead, it stores values directly in a file named pulumi.stackname.yaml. Because every stack gets its own distinct configuration file, your dev configuration and prod configuration live side by side in your repository, cleanly separated by file name. You add data to this file using the Pulumi command line interface. If you run the command pulumi config set frontend port 8080, Pulumi writes that key value pair directly into the YAML file for your currently active stack. To use that value in your infrastructure code, you instantiate a config object. Then you call a method like get or require on that object, passing the key name. The difference is straightforward. Calling get returns the value if it exists, or nothing if it does not. Calling require will throw an error and halt your deployment if the configuration key is missing. This is a great way to ensure a deployment never proceeds without a mandatory setting. You are not limited to simple strings. You can store and retrieve structured data like a JSON block defining scaling parameters and parse it directly into an object in your code. Now, what happens when that configuration value is highly sensitive? Suppose your application needs to connect to an external database, and you must pass the database password to your infrastructure. You absolutely cannot store this in plaintext in your YAML file, because that file gets committed to version control. This is where Pulumi secrets come in. You use the exact same command line interface, but you append a secret flag. You run pulumi config set db password, your password, -- secret. Pulumi encrypts the value before saving it to the YAML file. If someone looks at the file in your repository, they will only see a ciphertext string securely encrypted by your stock's encryption provider. In your code, you retrieve this securely by calling a specific secret method on your config object, such as require secret. Here's the key insight. When you retrieve a secret this way, Pulumi wraps it in a special secret type. As this value flows through your infrastructure code and gets passed to resources, the Pulumi engine tracks it. It ensures the plaintext value is masked in your console output during a deployment, and it guarantees the value remains encrypted inside your Pulumi state file. Configuration allows you to write infrastructure code once and safely promote it across environments. Native secret encryption ensures that your sensitive credentials drive those deployments without ever leaking into your version control or your state files. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me. Until next time, take it easy.